Berlin Wall. Barrier that surrounded West Berlin and prevented access to it from East Berlin and adjacent areas of East Germany during the period from 1961 to 1989. In the years between 1949 and 1961, about 2.5 million East Germans had fled from East to West Germany, including steadily rising numbers of skilled workers, professionals, and intellectuals. Their loss threatened to destroy the economic viability of the East German state. In response, East Germany built a barrier to close off East Germans' access to West Berlin and hence West Germany. That barrier, the Berlin Wall, was first erected on the night of August 12, 1961, is the result of a decree passed on August 12 by the East German Volkskammer, People's Chamber. The original wall, built of barbed wire and cinder blocks, was subsequently replaced by a series of concrete walls up to 15 feet, 5 meters high that were topped with barbed wire and guarded with watchtowers, gun emplacements, and mines. By the 1980 that system of walls, electrified fences, and fortifications extended 45 kilometers through Berlin, dividing the two parts of the city, and extended a further 120 kilometers around West Berlin, separating it from the rest of East Germany. The Berlin Wall came to symbolize the Cold War's division of East from West Germany and of Eastern from Western Europe. About 5,000 East Germans managed to cross the Berlin Wall by various means and reach West Berlin safely, while another 5,000 were captured by East German authorities in the attempt and 191 more were killed during the actual crossing of the wall. East Germany's hardline communist leadership was forced from power in October 1989 during the wave of democratization that swept through Eastern Europe. On November 9, the East German government opened the country's borders with West Germany including West Berlin, and openings were made in the Berlin Wall through which East Germans could travel freely to the west. The wall henceforth ceased to function as a political barrier between East and West Germany. Development of the Berlin Wall. In 1945, after the end of World War II, Germany was divided into 4 zones of occupation. It was controlled by the United States, Britain, France, and the Soviet Union. Berlin, located within the Soviet zone, was also divided into 4 sectors. The American, British, and French sectors formed West Berlin, and the Soviet sector became East Berlin. Tensions between the Western democracies and the Soviet Union grew during the Cold War. This resulted in the deepening of the division between East and West Germany. In 1961, the East German government, supported by the Soviet Union, built a wire barrier around West Berlin. This cut off the city from the surrounding East German territory. The initial wire barrier eventually developed into a fortified concrete structure known as the Berlin Wall. It spanned 155 kilometers and stood 4 meters tall. The wall was heavily guarded by armed East German border guards. They had orders to shoot anyone attempting to escape into West Berlin. Over its 28-year history, more than 100 people lost their lives while trying to cross the Berlin Wall. The fall of the Berlin Wall occurred on November 9, 1989, following political changes in Eastern Europe and civil unrest in Germany. East German spokesman Gunter Schabowski mistakenly announced that East Germans were free to travel to West Germany. This led to crowds gathering at the checkpoints and eventually crossing the border unrestrictedly. The fall of the Berlin Wall marked a significant step towards the reunification of Germany. This took place on October 3, 1990. Reasons for construction: mass emigration. Between 1949 and 1961, approximately 2.5 million East Germans, primarily skilled professionals, fled to the west, causing a brain drain. The Berlin Wall was built by the German Democratic Republic during the Cold War to prevent its population from escaping Soviet-controlled East Berlin to West Berlin, which was controlled by the major Western allies. It divided the city of Berlin into 2 physically and ideologically contrasting zones. The East German government, under Soviet influence, feared losing its population and the ideological battle with the West. Characteristics of the wall. Concrete wall. The wall itself was a series of concrete panels, typically 12 feet high and 4 feet wide. Death strip. Between the inner and outer walls was a death strip is a no-man's land with guard towers, anti-vehicle trenches, dogs, and tripwire machine guns. The death strip was the belt of sand or gravel-covered land between the 2 main barriers of the Berlin Wall. It was constantly under surveillance by guards in watchtowers, who could shoot anyone they saw trying to escape. Fleeing citizens who initially avoided being detected or shot could be tracked down by following their footprints in the death strip. Guard towers, equipped with searchlights, alarms, and soldiers with shoot-to-kill orders. Crossing points. There were only a few authorized crossing points, heavily guarded and tightly controlled. Human impact. Family separation. Families and friends were divided, with many unable to see each other for decades. Escape attempts. Despite the dangers, many attempted to escape. Around 5,000 succeeded, but over 140 were killed trying. Symbol of oppression. The wall symbolized the Iron Curtain and the suppression of freedom. International reactions. West's response. The Western powers condemned the wall as an abomination and a violation of human rights. Kennedy's speech. In 1963, U.S. President John F. Kennedy delivered his famous Ich bin ein Berliner speech, expressing solidarity with the people of West Berlin. 1961 crisis. The wall's construction sparked an international crisis, with fears of a military conflict. Fall of the wall. In 1989, a series of events led to the wall's collapse. Gorbachev's policies. Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev's reforms, like perestroika and glasnost, weakened the Eastern Bloc. Protests. Peaceful protests and demonstrations grew in East Germany, demanding freedom and reforms. Opening of borders. On November 9, 1989, East German authorities unexpectedly announced that citizens could cross freely. Celebration and demolition. Thousands flooded the checkpoints, and the wall's destruction began. People chipped away at it with hammers and picks. The border between East and West Germany was opened on November 9, 1989, following anti-government protests in East Germany and the democratization of other Eastern and Central European states. Sections of the Berlin Wall were subsequently torn down by East German border guard crews and residents of a reunified Berlin. Segments of the Berlin Wall still exist in modern Berlin, notably on display at the Topography of Terror Museum, the Berlin Wall Memorial, and the East Side Gallery. Pieces and whole segments of the wall are also on display in museums all over the world. Reunification and legacy. Germany was officially reunited on October 3, 1990. Memorials. Parts of the wall remain as memorials, like the East Side Gallery covered in art. Symbol of unity. The fall of the Berlin Wall is celebrated as a triumph of freedom over oppression and unity over division. Tourist attraction. Today, the remnants of the wall attract millions of tourists and serve as a reminder of the city's tumultuous past. The Berlin Wall's history is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the power of freedom, and the eventual triumph of unity over division in the face of oppression. Consequences of the fall of the Berlin Wall. The fall of the Berlin Wall reverberated globally and had far-reaching consequences. End of the Cold War. The fall of the wall marked the symbolic end of the Cold War era. It signified a shift from the bipolar world order to a new geopolitical landscape. German reunification. The wall's demise paved the way for the reunification of East and West Germany in 1990, a historic moment that transformed Europe. Expansion of democracy. The events surrounding the wall's fall inspired democratic movements in other Eastern Bloc countries, leading to their eventual transition to democracy. European integration. The reunification of Germany and the thawing of Cold War tensions facilitated European integration, leading to the formation of the European Union. Human triumph. The fall of the wall showcased the power of peaceful protests and people's aspirations, demonstrating that change can be achieved without resorting to violence. Conclusion. In conclusion, the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 stands as a testament to the human spirit's unwavering pursuit of freedom, unity, and change. This pivotal event not only marked the end of an era but also ushered in a new chapter in world history, one characterized by shifting alliances, diplomatic recalibrations, and the triumph of human will.